Bienvenidos, amigas, amigos. The Mexican Soccer Show. Whoa. We like to call this Monday Night Football. Desde la Ciudad de Mexico. No, I'm just kidding. We're not in Mexico. It's going to be a fun show. Getting you guys in the mood, this cumbia mood that you guys hate. Some of you guys like this music, but... All right, welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. I am Wisa from Food Mex Nation. This is an hour-long podcast dedicated to all things Mexican football. Playing around with the echo. Then we do a little karaoke session.
That'd be a fun show.
Welcome to the karaoke session of the Mexican Soccer Show. Bailamos. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started with a question here. We'll talk all about Mexicans abroad. Have good discussion all about the Mexicans abroad here. Also, Liga MX. El Tri is about to have a game in a few weeks. I don't know. Conor McGregor versus Mayweather, maybe? I don't know. We can have chat.
I don't really care about that.
Today.
That was definitely
I burned my eyes. Not looking straight at it, but all right. Let's go say hi to Mr. Cesar. Cesar, let me ask you a question really quick. Who's going to score more goals? Chucky Lozano or Mr. Chicharito this season? Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Cesar here from San Diego. That's a good question. I'm going to go with, I think, Lozano. I think Lozano's already had an incredible start. And, I mean, it just because of the competition. Maybe? Yeah, I mean, just because of the competition. Yeah. And I definitely think that Chicharito's going to have a good season.
So now, Chucky Lozano is a striker then, right? I mean, I think that's what we're going to discuss in this show. It's kind of like this winger scoring a lot of goals. Tecatito, is he a striker? Is he not? Is he playing in? So,
I mean, he's definitely playing as a winger for PSV right now. But yeah, no, I'm going to go just because of the competition, just because of him taking part in the Eredivisie. I'm going to say that it's going to be Lozano, who's already had an excellent start. I don't know. What do you think, Rizzo?
I don't know. I posed the question because I really didn't know. Because I could definitely see.
That's why you're asking.
I could definitely see. I mean, some people keep saying that maybe Chicharito was gonna struggle. His team not getting the ball to him, but he made it. He's always there at the right time. The poacher, as people like to call him, and scoring all those goals, even though he does give, I think it's a totally different player than maybe when he was in Man U. No, interesting question. I could definitely see Chucky score more goals, but I feel like people are going to get to know Chucky really fast in the Visa, and they'll be like, okay, hold on a second.
Especially because like what PSV is in the Eredivisie, he's going to get a lot of those opportunities. You see PSV getting those one-sided results a lot more often than what West Ham are going to get this season. West Ham, yeah. So it's going to be. I mean, it's just when you look at the status of West Ham in the EPL. I mean, they're just not going to have as many goals, as many opportunities as a team than at PSV. So I think just looking at that, just considering that, I think you've got to go with Lozano.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting. I think it's an interesting match. We'll see. Chucky Lozano, the Mexicans abroad goal scorer of the year. Yeah. But Chicharito again. I mean, if West Ham is going to score, Chicharito's going to be a part of it. So yeah,
it looked like it over the weekend. He had those two goals. It was cool to see. Like, I don't know. I mean, clearly we're Mexican national fans, so of course we're like, we're rooting for Chicharito, and it just felt great just to see him scoring in the EPL and just getting a significant amount of praise from journalists over there. I don't know. It's really nice to see that, and of course, just it seems like the West Ham fans already love him just because he had those two huge goals, and although West Ham ended up losing to Southampton 3-2. I mean, he was close. He was really, really close.
Is he? Well, we'll talk a little bit about that. Where do you for Mr. Tom Marshall, who did the pre-show with us?
He ditched us. I don't know where he went.
He just kind of like, it took off. So hopefully, Mr. Mexico World Cup can join us. If you don't know, that's his Twitter name. And can join us because we have a lot of questions about Chivas. Chivas at the bottom of the table. When Chivas is doing worse than León at the beginning of a league, something is the matter. León being my team, I'm not afraid to say it. Pero we'll be talking to him and then have a little discussion on what is going on. El Tri, like I said, two more weeks. We should hear a list come out think you said something about the 24th, Cesar. Is that you like predicting it? Because we never know when these lists come out.
I mean, just
or
for
is
the
it because Thursday or something?
I mean, yeah, just for the most part, it's just it looks like it's fairly consistent. The list is always the Thursday before the match, before the first match that Mexico was taking part in. So, I mean, I highly doubt that they're going to be announcing it the day before next Friday's match. That'd be kind of crazy. That'd be cool. That'd be a true experiment there from Juan Carlos Osorio. But no, I'm just going with the fact that it's just it looks like everyone, not just me, but everyone else, is preparing for that announcement to be Thursday, maybe Friday. Maybe because of the midweek games, Osorio's gonna want to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, it looks like more than likely we'll probably see it this Thursday on the 24th.
Definitely, the days of telling us when we're gonna see that list, Piojo. I'm gonna tweet it out on Tuesday, so get ready for it. Are over. All right, well, saying guys, obviously, if you haven't joined us on the chats already, MJP, D Drive, our friend Steve Graff from Footmex Nation, a great writer. JP Santoyo, Javier Hernandez is with us.
Oh, what's up, Chicharito?
And saying Chucky's on fire. So, professional soccer is here, and saying hi to everybody. So, you haven't joined us, or you're driving, or maybe you're listening to us on Tuesday or Wednesday on iTunes. Try to make it on Monday night. So we'll try to answer some questions here. But no internet from Tom. I still don't have a.
Yeah, I know. He's having that chat with us.
I'm looking at the WhatsApp, and nope.
Good stuff, boys. It'll be a good chat, And then
but we'll go ahead and continue. Naib's taking a break today, and we do have our intern Amy, who is live tweeting. So, yeah. Saying hello to Amy. So let's get ahead and get started. Let's talk about, let's go into Mexicans abroad again. 2 weeks now into the European season. I know some started before, but let's say now we're finally into it. It's already Friday night when you're looking at your schedule for the weekend. And Friday night, if you're deciding to go, con los amigos de pachanga, and you realize that at 7 o'clock you got to be up because you got to watch Mexicans abroad. And I have to notice that I wish I was watching Mexicans abroad, or there was that many when I was growing up, when I was going to college, because I was always told that I always woke up at 11 or 12, and so these youngsters are waking up for these EPL games. I think your parents would be proud that say that you're up at 7 a.m. on a Saturday and Sunday. Lo que hace el fútbol. But let's go ahead and talk about it. We already kind of mentioned a little bit. Chicharito, a game where they were down a man, and I think everyone just kind of went, well, there it goes. I mean, it was the striker with the really, really dumb decision from him, and Chicharito being the only one who was almost feeding the ball towards him. I think he had a 2 assist, almost assist in the first half of the game, and then Chicharito being at the right place at the right time, something that we've seen before in all of his matches, where this incredible timing of being in the right place, where people say, oh, he's just lucky. But yet, so many goals that have been scored.
And I think he's much more than that. I think he's much more than just a poacher, especially for the national team. And you saw that a little bit with Bayer Leverkusen, but in England, that's just his forte, man. That's just what he does. I think I saw some stat that said that all of his goals in EPL have been scored within the penalty area. Like if I remember correctly, it's like all 38 of them have been within that area. And you saw it was almost like, I don't know, those 2 goals that he scored. You could have just imagined him with like a Manchester United jersey. It was just kind of like those like classic. I mean, back when people still considered him a poacher. I know some people abroad still consider him to be a poacher. Like I said, I think he's much more than that. But it was that perfect, poacher response, poacher like reflexes to score those 2 goals. Yeah. And it looked like it almost got enough to get a draw for a 10-man West Ham. But they allowed that late penalty. But still, you got to imagine that Chicharito feels pretty good about it, even though after in the press conference, not the press conference, but the mix zone afterwards, you can see that he was talking about the team. Chicharito's always very professional and talks about the team. I'm so disappointed, but it's a good moment for him. It's an exciting start for him too. Just because I feel like there was a lot of pressure when he first joined the team. He was a big signing for the club, and I think they were definitely anticipating this kind of start. So it's good for him to kick off the season this way. And it's good for my fantasy team because I made him my team captain and I got a lot of points over the weekend.
Well, one of the things that people keep, noticing, and I've been hearing it is, it used to be that he had any link-up play. I mean, the days of Manchester United where he couldn't, dribble with the ball. And I see a different type of Chicharito, someone that is smart about his passes, makes them, and obviously isn't afraid to start from the half of the field in almost on the wing, and looking for those rebounds, and that's exactly where he was. Joining us,
Oh, Tom.
Tom, you there? Can you hear us? I see you, but it looked like he was in and out. So he's gonna try again. Mr. Tom Marshall, can you hear us? Yo. Nope. All right, Tom, keep trying.
We'll be here talking soccer.
We'll be in football, but yeah, his second goal was amazing. Like the reflex for him, if you saw it, it's obviously off a rebound. I think it hit the pole, right, and then all of a sudden, just with his right leg, just extending it, and it goes in. Great power. Tom, are you there?
I think so. Yeah.
Hey.
All right. We're talking a little bit about Chicharito, Mexicans abroad, but we'll go to you, Mr. Tom. I did ask the question at the beginning: who's going to have more goals, Chucky Lozano or Chicharito? Your answer?
I think Chicharito. I just think he's well established in that league. He's the team's goal scorer. I think the whole team's based around him scoring goals. I think Lozano as well. He's done amazingly, taking nothing away from him. I think maybe teams will start working him out though. I mean, if you watch his first 2 goals, it's that standard cutting inside.
Yeah.
And once teams kind of get to grips with that, then he might struggle a little bit more. But that's the point of him going to Europe. The fact that he's going to face those challenges, and then he's going to get better as he tries to get over them. That's the idea.
Yeah, no, definitely is something that we said. So good, Chicharito. I think it'll be fun. Best player on the pitch for West Ham. I mean, what Chicharito's doing, and we're not spazzing on because he's a Mexican player, but I mean, you saw it in the last game scoring.
We are a little bit. We are just a little.
No, but he is. But I mean, he scored the 2 goals, which brought him back, and then obviously the tie. And then in the first game, even almost in the first game too, they're saying Chicharito. So as of now, I could say he was the best player. And
yeah, I mean, I think it was. You just get an idea of I don't know, when Chicharito's with the Mexican national team, there's kind of this friction. And he goes straight to England. The fans instantly love him at West Ham. The fans instantly think he's a great signing. And it's kind of weird to see the dynamic, whereas in England he's held in really high regard. And then in Mexico, he is as well. But he's demanding a little bit more instead of accepting him for what he is. I mean, he's a really good player now. And all right, he scored his 2 goals, but he also provided 2 crosses, which West Ham could have scored from. They were the best 2 chances of the game for West Ham, apart from the goals. His work rate's superb. I think the way he presses teams, Slaven Bilic is a pretty forward-thinking coach, and I think that Chicharito leads the line, not just in terms of getting goals, but in terms of knowing when to press and leading the team and giving the signals of when other players should also press. And he's turned into a bit of a leader as well. You look at him; he's shouting around on the pitch. He's telling, he's only been there a few weeks, and he's already, turning around and going, hey, get over there and want this, play the ball over there. And it's a player full of confidence. And honestly, it's great to see a Mexican player go over there and have that responsibility and show that leadership. I think it's absolutely great for the Mexican game that Chicharito's still up there, still kind of flying the flag and doing it with a lot of dignity for me.
And Tom, I mean, I'm not saying that. I mean, when you go back to England, and I'm sure you asked a question about Chicharito when in the days of Manchester, but now, I mean, people in the league know him, remember him, and the impact that they have with Manchester United, where they're almost afraid. I've seen some people say, "Oh gosh, watch out for Chicharito." He's pretty well known in the EPL.
Yeah, I mean, every team in the league would like Chicharito. Mm-hmm. Every single team would like a Chicharito. What certain clubs is that he might not be a definite starter. That's not a guarantee. If you look at the top 4 or 5 clubs, he probably wouldn't be a fixed starter week in, week out. But but every club would like him. That's the kind of respect that he's got in England. And I think you'd say the same for Spain. I mean, right now with Luis Suarez out, if Chicharito was in Barcelona, he'd be starting games. You know what I mean? I mean, I think that's his level. He's a very, very good player, so well respected around Europe.
If I remember correctly, I think he still has the 5th best goal to minute ratio in the EPL, like of all time, not just like this season, the early start, but of all time. I'm pretty sure he's still up in the top 5. I mean, it just says so much about how efficient he is in England, and just, I mean, we saw that in his last game too. Just with those 2 opportunities, it was just, it was clinical. It was exciting to see.
Well, good for him and Chicharito, but we'll see. I think it's going to be. Hopefully, he can continue doing well, but I could definitely see a drop when West Ham doesn't do or has a horrible defense, and he kept winning those games or not winning those games. Let's talk about overall the Mexicans abroad, and a topic where. If you told me 2 years ago about some players going to Porto and for example Tecatito, Layun, and Reyes, making that jump into other or better teams, who should move on? I feel like I don't know. Can we say that our Mexicans abroad are in great teams right now? There isn't anyone in the Real Madrid. Obviously, Chicharito was there, or even in teams that are going to be in Champions League. But let's talk about that subject. I mean, is it time? Should we stop maybe thinking that the Rauls, the Tecatitos, Layun, Reyes, all those guys aren't as good as we thought they would to make those that extra move to bigger teams?
I mean, I looked at the list of the Mexicans abroad in Europe beforehand, and I mean, you mentioned those players, and I think it's obvious that a lot of those Porto guys should be looking for. I'm not saying that they're not good enough to be in the starting 11 for Porto, but that they should be looking for a move outside of the club. I mean, you're talking about Diego Reyes, who you kind of hope that Espanyol's still going to make a late push for him. You look at Miguel Layun. I mean, just with the options that the current starting options they have, I mean, it just doesn't look like he's going to find a lot of minutes. And then Hector Herrera, I mean,
yeah, you forgot about Herrera. You're right.
you think it would be best for Porto, to have this guy who still has a good market value, someone they could still get a lot of money from. They should be sending him out at some point soon, especially if he's not going to be a starter. And I think if they keep him on the bench this season, I mean, that market value is just going to drop. So you think it would be practical from everyone involved for Herrera to be leaving in the near future. So I think that'd be good for Herrera. I'm hoping that does happen. I would like to see him make a move outside of Porto. But yeah, I think from those three, I really do hope that Herrera makes the move. And I'm guessing if there was someone, it would be that guy, because it seems like the most practical from all involved.
I would say Tecatito's ready to move. I mean, he should start already making that.
Tecatito's still a starter for that team. I think he should make a move after the season.
Season. Like he can still leave. But Tom, to you, any players that should come back to Liga MX?
I think if they run out of options in Europe, then yeah. I mean, I think for me the one that could do is Miguel Layun. Why? Because he's 29 now. I don't know what's out there. I don't know. I don't know. I look at the Porto players and Raul Jimenez, and the one that sticks out for me is Herrera in terms of he's just stagnated. He's completely stagnated. If you go to the 2014 World Cup, he was a player, and you go through the players that Porto have exported, that they brought in, especially from Latin America. They've developed him for a couple of seasons and then sold them on. James Rodriguez, Falcao, recently, Hulk, I don't know, the list goes on and on. Deco going back a few years, Mangala. There's...
James was in Porto.
Yeah, he was in Porto, yeah, James Rodriguez. The idea is that you go to Porto, you establish yourself, which he did. Remember he was in the second team for the first 6 months, getting adapted to Portugal, the Portuguese game, and then he became a starter. Then he had a good World Cup, and then it was like, all right, breakout season. He did that as well. Remember in the Champions League, he was brilliant. And then it's like since then, I don't know what's happened. I don't know what's happened for him he's completely adapted to life in Portugal, and to then be on the bench for this team for me is.
But has Herrera done anything either in the national team either? I
think he's gotten a little bit better. I think he's made a slight upgrade within the past several months, but it's not at the level we want him to be at, and I want him to be playing at a higher level more consistently. But it's just.
Cesar, this is the thing. Like we say, higher level, but he can't get into Porto. I mean, this is the question, and I know this. I know people don't like it when I say, challenge these players, but I think this is Osorio's mentality as well. Like, why can't you get in Porto? Porto's a team where you move on from. You don't stay in Porto if you're a foreigner. I'm not saying it's a bad team. I'm not saying he's not having a very good career, but for me, Herrera's the one where you wanted to see move to Juventus, move to Roma, move to a really good, Bundesliga team, Premier League team, La Liga team. I don't know. So for me, he has to move on. He has to get out of there. He needs to be playing. It's World Cup year. But then you can say the same for Miguel Layún. He has to force his way out. It don't matter even if he goes to Russia. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Let him go to Russia. Let him go wherever, France, wherever he can. He's going to get minutes. Tecatito, I think, is one that's got to stay. I think this is the big season for Tecatito. He needs to step it up. If you look how many goals he scored in 2017, I think he scored twice in the league and the European competition. That's not enough. Like as a winger, for a team like Porto, who basically dominate games so much in the Portuguese league, you have to score more goals. You're not going to be moving to a Liverpool or to an Arsenal scoring 2 goals in 8 months of the year. But anyway, Diego Reyes as well. Yeah, I think that's a player you've got to give a bit of leeway to. Obviously, he doesn't fit in at Porto. I don't think that's completely his fault. You could say the same for Layún, but Reyes has to leave as well. And the other one for me, and this is the big one, Raúl Jiménez.
Yeah.
Over the divide. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, you look at his goals to games to minutes played ratio. It's like 50. I mean, he scores a lot of goals for the amount of minutes he plays.
But the thing is Benfica are doing quite well without him getting any minutes, and I think that's the big problem right there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I think we talk about these issues, and I think we have to bring up other questions. I think it's legitimate to say, for example, with the Raúl Jiménez situation, coming back late into pre-season, with the Porto players coming back late into pre-season, you're not quite adapted. New manager over there, is that affecting them? The fact that they've not been there right from the start, they're coming in late. Raúl Jiménez came in late. The new manager's already got his kind of 2 strikers playing together. They're playing well. They're scoring goals. And Raúl Jiménez is left on the side. I tell you what, though, I'd be surprised if he's been linked with Everton. I'd be surprised if Everton, a Premier League club, go for somebody who went to Atletico Madrid, didn't really do it, went to Benfica, couldn't force his way into the starting 11, and with Mexico, hasn't been a starter ever. I don't think there's been a time where you can say a period of 6 months where you can say Raúl Jiménez starts games for Mexico regularly.
That could be because of Osorio, no?
Yeah, but I mean, if he's not playing in Benfica, then does he deserve to be? I don't know. This is the challenge for the players over in Porto. I think the exception for me is Tecatito, possibly Diego Reyes, where you can say they're a bit younger, give them a bit of time to establish themselves, but they need to break out. You can't just be like they can't stagnate like Herrera does.
And I feel like with Jimenez, like what's kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt is he was always that young striker. He was just like, oh, give him time. He's training with Atletico Madrid, like give him time. Well, went over to Benfica, like just give him time. But he's 26 now. He's 26 years old. He should be establishing himself, especially before, like you said, before the World Cup. We want to see him starting somewhere. We want to see him getting regular minutes. It doesn't matter, like you said, it doesn't matter if it's Russia. It doesn't matter if it's what was that?
MLS?
No, let's not just yet for Major League Soccer. Maybe in the near future, you never know. But anyway, yeah, you do want to see someone like Jimenez. Like I said, he's not a young kid anymore. He's 26 years old, and we're going to talk about this later, especially when Mexico has a striker problem. You do after Jimenez, after Chicharito, who do you look to? And it's just you want that guy, that number 2 option, to be getting regular minutes abroad. So yeah, I do hope that Jimenez makes the move. We'll see if it happens. I'm still not sure. I would imagine that.
When's the last day of transfer?
I mean, it depends on country. I think on the 31st.
Yeah, I don't know if it spills over into next week, but but they paid a lot of money for him as well. Yeah, Raúl Jiménez. And to get him out of there, they're going to have to pay a lot as well.
And you imagine they're very happy with him on the bench with the amount of goals that he scores in crucial matches too. He's done that the past couple seasons. At the end of the tournament, he's scored some very important goals that have helped them clinch the title. So I would imagine they do want a good amount of money for him, and that they're happy with him being there. If he's okay with having that backup role, because he's an excellent backup to have for Benfica. That's an incredible backup.
Yeah, there's a link today in the press with Anderlecht in Belgium. I think Belgium's the 9th best team in Europe according to the UEFA coefficiency things. So I don't know what to think about that. I don't think Belgium's not the best league.
Hey, we're all going to Belgium apparently. Look at over there. We got Ochoa struggling.
Got a nice beer, some pommes frites, fries,
waffles.
Waffles.
I don't know if that's actually true.
This is now the Belgian soccer show. I like this. I like this.
We no, I mean, our players need to play. It just comes down to it. I mean, you said if we can't break Porto's starting 11 or Benfica's starting 11, you know, where can we go? And especially in those leagues, they're not the best leagues in Europe. You know, you see someone like Moreno who has constantly playing in Europe and taking those strides, you know, going to Roma and saying is one of the biggest challenges of his career now. Staying in PSV, which, let's say, it's not the greatest league, but continuing to have minutes and being one of the best defenders in that league. I'd be surprised if we don't see anyone making the jump to a team, even though we do have, I think, the most Europeans and Mexicans in Europe. We don't have any Champions League, and it feels like some of them are still struggling to get minutes, especially that core in Portugal.
Yeah, I think Jimenez is in Champions League, no?
Yeah, I thought there's a few that are going to be taking part in Champions League.
Well, Roma.
I think the Porto guys too, right? I think the Porto guys are still there, and then Jimenez with Benfica. And I think, but anywho, but yeah, no, but
I think you see a difference between, you know, Chicharito in West Ham, Andres Guardado. Okay, he went over to Nou Camp, they lost 2-0, but you know, I saw an interview with him with Betis TV after the game, and he sounds like a captain. He's explaining the loss, he's explaining his own deficiencies in the game. You know, he sounds like a future manager, to be honest. But and I think you put Moreno in that same category. You know, that kind of mature, comes out and you back him to succeed. All right, Moreno didn't see any minutes for Roma, but you kind of back Moreno to succeed. You back him to have that drive, that experience behind him. And sometimes you look at some of the other players, maybe Herrera, maybe Raul Jimenez, and you think, do they have that same drive? You know? And I think it poses another question for me as well in terms of the Mexican game. The fact that some of these players who are in Porto, who are in Benfica, know that they've got the option of coming back to Liga MX, making really, really good money. They know they've got the option, a lot of them, of going to MLS, making really good money, having a really nice life over there. An Argentine player who doesn't make it at Porto, I'm not saying they're going to go back to Argentina and be poor. They're not going to make big money. You know, they're not. They just don't have the option. They have to make it in Europe.
Do you think it's the cushion that they have?
Yeah, and I'm not kind of saying, oh, this player isn't doing it because of this. But I just think there's a number of factors, and I think that's one of them.
No, it makes sense.
It might be 1%, it might be 0.1%, but you're mixing that into the, you know, and also the international breaks. You know, all the Mexican players now, they're all coming back to, you know, they're going back to Mexico City, then they're flying to Costa Rica, and then they're going back. After joining preseason late because of the Confederations Cup, next summer there's probably another 3 tournaments, and then summer after.
Yeah, no,
it just doesn't stop.
I mean, that's something that's got to be talked about too. I mean, just hear the list of like tournaments that Mexico always takes. You got the Copa Oro, you got the Confederations Cup, you got the Olympics, you got the Copa America, you got World Cup qualifiers, you got friendlies, you have such a long list of games that Mexico takes part in. It's kind of funny because in the end, it does feel like, even though we make jokes and say like, oh, Juan Carlos Osorio is treating this team like a club team. It's like, well, when you look at the list of games, it's almost like a club team.
Yeah,
it's just the amount of
you played 30 games this year.
And it's just every summer. If I remember correctly, 2008 was the last summer that Mexico didn't take part in any tournament. That was the last summer. Since then, every summer, Mexico's always, and sometimes it's more than one. We've seen that before. We see that all the time.
Every 2 years, there's two. Yeah. There's always two with Copa Oro being every 2 years.
Yeah,
totally get that, Tom. You know, you always hear that drive in sports of people that don't have, you know, are poor or they don't have the means, and they try that much harder because they want to escape. And you brought that up where maybe these guys are, I'll go back to the MLS. I'll go back to Mexico if I fail from here and earn a ton of money. Do I really need to make it where that Argentine player, the Brazilian player, not going to go back to Colombia, make that much? Yeah, Colombian player is not going to go back. It's a really, really good point. Yeah, and I definitely agree. I think hopefully we can see somebody make a move. Marco Fabian, you know, somebody that we were looking forward to this summer, and seeing what he did in the Confederations Cup with a golazo, and then now the surgery, which he could be out until next year.
Yeah, it looks like I
Tough
think
news.
minimum of 4 months. So more than likely, I mean, we'll probably won't see him taking the field again until January 2018, which is really unfortunate. It's just I liked how
And
he
it,
stepped up for Frankfurt and he became a key player. And
Yeah, he kind of left all the because he had quite a negative reputation, didn't he? When he left Mexico, especially here in Guadalajara, it was all Marco Fabian always partying, always going out, loves the girls. That was his reputation. I think he's gone over to Germany and kind of shed that. It's been a new start for him, and he struggled for that first season. Let's not forget that, and he's overcome that and become he had become a key player for Eintracht Frankfurt. So I mean, that's the path. That's what you want, that drive, that kind of. But yeah, we'll see. No, but it's an important couple of weeks, I think, for the World Cup for Mexico, because I mean, like Cesar was saying about Layun with the fullbacks that Porto got unlikely to play. Going on, Reyes unlikely to play unless he moves Raul Jimenez. If the two strikers are banging in the goals and Benfica are winning 6-0 every week, then why would you change your strikers? So for me, it's an important couple of weeks for the World Cup, because those players, they need to come into the World Cup with minutes and on form and confident, and and that's not going to happen if they stay. But it's unlikely to happen if they stay where they are.
I don't think we really need to read into it too much, but it is interesting to note that all the players that we do want to see leave their European teams, that they're all based in Portugal. It's all the guys in Portugal. Porto. Yeah, it's funny that's. I mean, it's just that those. I mean, like I said, I don't think there's really too much to read into it. I mean, but it's just.
Has anybody succeeded in Porto? I'm thinking of Kikín Fonseca. Benfica didn't do that well.
Yeah,
we'll see what Briseño could do with Firenze. Even though he hasn't been a part of the game day roster just yet.
Gudiño, right? Yeah.
What was that?
Your boy Gudiño, how's he doing?
I think isn't he? I
think they're going to load him out, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's rumored to be heading out to
Vitesse.
Yeah, somewhere out there. But yeah.
All right, to wrap up our Mexicans abroad, Carlos Salcedo. Who else? Obviously, we talked about Andrés Guardado.
And we got to talk about. I mean, it's not. I know we were just poking fun at it a little bit, but Omar Govea. We shouldn't be getting too excited just yet, but no, he's doing well.
Let me know when I get
excited. In Belgium. While Guillermo Ochoa is struggling the same league, Omar Govea is finding the back.
Okay, come on. And I didn't get to watch it, and I know I've saw some headlines. Ochoa once again, and I try to avoid anything with Ochoa and spazzing on the one side and the other. But is Ochoa doing bad, or is he one of the teams where the team's pretty bad and you're normal Ajaccio, or is he doing horrible mistakes?
I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Okay, I just want to throw it out there. I didn't get to watch it. I was looking at headlines, but they're like, Ochoa's bad again, doing awful in Belgium. But we've seen it's not really Ochoa. Or is it, again, in a bad team where they just got...
No, I think last weekend he didn't make key mistakes. The weekend before he did. I mean, he cost Standard Liège the goal and they lost. But last week, I mean, you're supposed to if you go to Belgium, at least go to win the championship.
Ochoa's the first agent in the history of football. Manny Castillo and got great Manchester City after spending a year doing nothing in Ukraine. We need to get these guys better agents, man.
I don't know what team is Ajaccio in League On right now, but go to the similar Ajaccio team in League On, do that instead of going to Belgium. Instead of going to a team in Belgium that might be fighting for relegation.
Is it really? I need to repel one.
No, it's not that bad, is it?
No, but they're not. They only have one win, right?
You just have so many different times. Now I have my schedule on the Mexicans abroad over the weekend. I'm just I can watch this game. Oh, Ochoa. Oh, I'll hear about it. Okay, got to keep. Now we got Liga MX, and there goes everything. I have no life on it, but we'll continue to do that. Really quick, because I know we already spent a ton of time on Mexicans abroad, which we needed to anyways. Let's talk about El Tri really quick. Liga. There's going to be a game coming up. Obviously, this qualifiers. 4 more games left. September 1st and 5th, El Trinidad and Tobago and Costa Rica, just like Tom mentioned. But the list should be coming out. We said maybe this week. But one of the conversations that we definitely wanted to talk about is the lack of strikers and the fact that who's there? Let's just say Chicharito, Raul Jimenez are injured. Looking at strikers, and not overall, and we can tie into Liga MX, but Tom's has a stat an article he wrote, no, a video that he had over his Facebook regarding Mexican players scoring goals in Liga MX. Tom, tell us a little about this finding. Should we be worried? I mean, we keep hearing that where are our Mexican strikers as before, where Oribe Peralta is still to be talked about as the best Mexican striker in Mexico.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's nothing new. I just thought this weekend it was very exaggerated, the lack of Mexican strikers playing. And I think it was big goals. So you had all the headlines, Chicharito, Chingon, blah, blah, blah. Then Oribe Peralta, you know, a goal, 2 assists. And all the headlines, yeah, Oribe won it for America. Yeah, nice one. Which is obviously good. But, you know, Chicharito's 29, Oribe 33. And then looking beyond that, there wasn't one Mexican striker that started a game anywhere in the world, apart from Angel Zaldívar, who is playing pretty badly right now for Chivas. And let's be honest, if Chivas had some better options, he wouldn't be playing right now. He's just completely lacking confidence. So, I don't know. I mean, just throw it out there. If you come in to pick a Mexico squad and you've got 3 players in one position anywhere starting a game, then it's not exactly competition for places.
Yeah, and it's worse. I mean, like I talked about this before the show started, but I remember writing a piece a while back for ESPN about, you know, if you had to have a Mexico starting 11 on players who have never had a call up before, and it was easy to find other positions, a defense, goalkeepers. Oh, there's some interesting midfielders. But then when I looked at the strikers, it was just really, really worrisome. When you look at those young options who aren't getting minutes, and I had to choose someone like Ronaldo Cisneros just because of what he's done for the youth national team. But yeah. We talked about this, but it's really, really worrisome after Chicharito, after Jimenez. Where do you go? I mean, you either go to Oribe Peralta, who's 33. He's going to be 34, you know, going into the next World Cup. Pulido is injured. And then you look at the other options, Cubo, Barragan, Bueno, Henry Martin, Zaldívar. I mean, Angel Sepulveda is a little bit more of a winger, but it is something that we should.
What about Gio?
He's not. I think we're just looking at like a number 9.
Number 9. And I think this is where it comes to. And I've when was the last time you remember Mexicans being, you know, we had a lot of Mexicans scoring? I don't remember that in the last 25 to 30 years. I don't know, and I just don't remember a time where we have a ton of Mexicans scoring in our league all over the world, in and out. And I'm not saying that it's a problem. Of course, I'm sure we would be better at World Cups. But Tom, we talked about this in the EPL. Do you see a lot of English players scoring for the league?
Not a big percentage, but I mean, I think, you know, it's relative to the quality of the league. You know, the Premier League is right up there. So an English player getting regular minutes in the Premier League is just benefiting so much more than a Mexican playing in Liga MX, because they're getting week in, week out top level competition. And I'd say in England as well, one of the big things that I think, you know, I'd love to see happen in the Mexican game is you've got a second division which is really strong. Yeah. You know, the English second division can pay higher wages than most other leagues in Europe. So you've in England, a young English player. All right, yeah, obviously for the England national team, you'd want to see more in the Premier League, but you've got 4 professional divisions. You know, so if you're a young English player and you don't make it in the Premier League, you can step down. You can go abroad. You've got, you know, at least the minute.
How many English abroad do you?
No, but that's a problem. They share that with the Mexican, but they've got an EU passport.
Yeah.
Still, so they in theory could do that, but yeah, I mean it's a problem. But I'd say that if you do go back some years, I mean, obviously you didn't have this rule. You didn't have all the Mexican first division teams like's happening now, starting with foreign strikers. That just didn't happen.
I just see it as a striker position being someone that you're going to try to get the best.
Yeah.
Where in a defender or mid, even the best, you know, that are around there, you can do with what you have. You know, they only have one goal, is to score goals. That's it. And I feel that especially the striker position, and we can look at other leagues. You know, the Spanish league. Do we see more Spaniards scoring the goals than foreigners? I would say that maybe the German league you would have most. I don't know. The Germans stay in Germany. You don't see that many Germans abroad compared to others. But is this really a problem? I think we can look at it, or is it something else where the game is changing? You don't see that number 9 as much anymore. Look at our goal scorers. Tecatito and Chucky Lozano, you know, we'll say that have, you know, aside from Chicharito, are going to be scoring goals. They're not your strikers. But yes, you know, they're more that winger player. Has the game evolved where you're not going to see that many?
I think I'm going a little bit of a tangent here, but like I think my biggest complaint, at least for Mexican strikers not getting opportunities, I think it's the league format. I think Liga MX, you know, with those short seasons, you need to get results as soon as possible. So when you're bringing in that talent from outside of Mexico, you're going to be looking at that striker position. You're going to be looking at those that can get you the goals, get you to the playoffs, and push you to getting a title. So I think that as exciting as the league format is, and we all think it's great. You know, it's fantastic. It's every match has a significant amount of I don't know, significance, I guess, just use the word significant again. But I think if we had a longer season, you would have more opportunities for those young Mexican players who just don't get opportunities, who don't get chances just because of how quick and how short and how immediate that league format is.
In terms of significance, I'm not sure how significant it is. But in terms of, I don't know, I think it's a mentality thing, and I agree to an extent, Cesar, but it's also the mentality. And I don't know, let me explain myself a little bit. Yeah. Is that, for example, everybody blames the league for the 9-9 rule. Mm-hmm. Oh, what are you doing? What's the league doing? At the end of the day, it's the clubs that implement it. You know, it's the clubs that hire a manager, that buy the players in, that decide the future. You know what I mean? And I think that regardless of what the league format is, regardless of the rules regarding surrounding foreigners, it's up to the clubs. And if you look at what Pachuca have done, and you look at them, how many debuts they've given in the last, you know, just this year, 2017. You look at Chivas. I know it's a different scenario over there, and you think there is a way of doing it. You know, Pachuca are a top club fighting for championships. If you had 18 Pachucas right now, I guarantee you'd have more Mexican strikers playing, and the national team would be way better off.
Have we seen Pachuca strikers come out though?
Roberto de la Rosa? Yeah, it's a name to watch. He's 17 years old, but everybody's talking about him.
But that's what I'm saying. We're like, let's look at Pachuca, let's look at Chivas, and look at to see the teams that are doing well and giving those youngsters debut. I don't see strikers from Pachuca in the last 10, 15 years. You know, that are coming through there.
Yeah, it's because it's one club. So naturally you're going to get one club. But if you have 18 clubs doing that, then you're going to get a number 9. Like Pachuca might do that, and they might get a right back. They might get Pizarro. They might get Gutierrez. You know, they might get a few different positions because you know, it's not a science. You can't predict which player is going to come from where. You know, Chivas can do that, and they've got Saldivar, and he's in a process. He's not there yet. We don't know how good he's going to be, but he's in that. But he's the only one that I'm looking around the league now, and he's the only one really that I see who's like kind of regularly playing. You know, Pulido's there as well when he's not injured, but I mean, I don't know.
I guess Chivas a little bit more with Chicharito and obviously Pulido. But having it right now, but not coming through the Chivas system.
Yeah, I mean, Macias is there. He's 18 years old, 17, 18. You know, he's a very, very good player. And he'll get time at Chivas. So you've got Macias at Chivas. You've got Roberto de la Rosa at Pachuca. 2 very good players who, if you speak to people in the game, in Fuerzas Básicas and stuff, they're very big on those 2 players. Obviously, he's 17 years old. You don't know how they're going to develop in 4 years' time. But at least you've got 2 options then. You've got 2 clubs that are going to play him.
I just keep going back to when there's a youngster that's coming through and he's that good to be in the first minutes and doing well in Mexico. I feel like that's when they make the jump. Let's look at let's see Raúl Jiménez or Chicharito or Tecatito. You know, those guys, and even before the Carlos Vela and Joano dos Santos, where those youngsters were coming through. If they would be in Mexico, I feel that they would be scoring goals. And I think that's where I don't see that many Mexicans scoring in LA, because if you have somebody that good, they're going to make that jump into Europe. You know, Chucky will be scoring goals right now. Tecatito will be scoring goals right now. And we would see that. You saw someone like Chicharito do it, where he was young and he went into Chivas.
I think you could apply that to any other position, though, right? I don't think it's just in the
but also Chicharito, when he burst onto the scene, as a teenager, he almost gave up the game. He was 21 by the time he broke out. But the point is, if you've not got any young strikers playing, then none of them are going to break out. It's as simple as that.
I still think you extend the season, make it 34 games, Tom. I know you don't agree on, I know I agree with you said, like, with the team mentality. I do agree that, like, what Pachuca did, what Chivas, and also Santos Laguna. I think we have to give credit to Santos Laguna.
Those three teams that supposedly have great fuerzas básicas and have they produced a quality striker in the last 10 years?
Well, if we're talking about we're talking about another young guy. He hasn't done anything just yet, but Ronaldo Cisneros again. I think that's another name that we need to keep an eye on.
These are guys that are coming through, but I mean, look at Fierro,
Yeah, but that happens. But the point is that for every, if you got 10 players who are good age 17, maybe 2 will make it. But if you're only giving one of them a chance, then you've got 30% chance of getting one player.
Yeah.
It's about pushing as much product into a machine, like a sausage factory. Put loads of meat into the sausage factory, and you'll get a few sausages that are good that'll come through.
I think Pachuca literally created a video that actually showed that, where they had all the young players, and then from those you'll have another bunch will make the U17s. From that bunch you'll make they'll have some that make the first team, and from there you have the ones that like go up, and it makes sense. It just makes sense. But unfortunately, it's just that I don't know. When you're pushing for a title, are you really going to give that 17-year-old kid his debut, or are you going to bring on the more experienced option? Like I said, when you have 17 games to go through.
But Vito, here's my question for you. What's the alternative?
I don't know.
What do you want to happen? I mean, unless Mexican teams play Mexican strikers, then Mexico aren't going to have any strikers. I mean, suddenly in Spain there's not going to be like 20 Mexican strikers, and then I mean, Argentina just left out Higuain. Yeah. You look at the Argentine league, how many strikers are playing who are Argentine, playing in a good standard in the Argentine league? How many Argentine strikers in the Mexican league, in Spain, all over Europe? And you're like, if you're Sao Paulo, you've got this massive bulk of players to choose from. Sao Paulo is leaving players out who are top players because they don't suit his style. A Mexican manager doesn't have that luxury. A Mexican manager can't leave out Chicharito.
It just goes back to Argentina. How many Argentine players are around the world? And they're leaving. And again, are the richness of Liga MX and players being comfortable and all of that. I mean, I don't know what the alternative, but I just feel like the game is changing, and I don't see that. Again, I don't remember Mexicans, being in a league where we've had problems with promotores. Cesar is blaming the league format, where I don't see that changing. And I'm looking at the 3 teams that I would think that they would, and there isn't any evidence of at least them bringing some strikers in there. Could it be that Mexicans?
There definitely is. But plus, we have to put a time scale on this, because it's not been that long that Mexican youth system have actually been very good. Mm-hmm. And I think it's only the last 10, 15 years where there's been a real emphasis. And that's why, for example, Santos Laguna, probably only the last 5 years. Pachuca, 10 years. Chivas, more or less, for going back before that. But that's another issue, and I think only now we're going to see those players. But the bottom line is, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is the great irony of the Mexican League and Liga MX clubs and the FMF. They pump so much money into youth production, a legitimate large amount of money to producing young players, and then the opportunities for the young players just aren't there. I mean, it's a massive irony in the Mexican game right now.
I have an unpopular solution, which I think no one will want to support, at least Mexican fans. I think you got to send some of those young players on loan to Major League Soccer. I think that'd be good. I think you're still close to family. You go to a league which it's still a decent level, slightly below Liga MX, but they'll probably get more chances over there. I like that.
I tell you what, if I was
under 23.
If I was a sporting director of an MLS club right now, I'd be scouting the Mexico's under-20s team, league. Sorry, I'd be scouting the Copa MX, and I'd be, Ronaldo Cisneros, Cesar, you mentioned there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, right, I'll loan you. Come on, I'll go and buy you from Chicago.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to buy Ronaldo Cisneros. He's not worth that much right now. He's not proving himself in Liga MX. Instead of paying loads of money for like a Hugo Torres, I'd be plucking players from the Mexican under-20s league. Yep. Bring him to the US, and enticing them with the idea that this is there's a process here. We're going to look after you. You're going to live in LA or wherever, and I don't know. And that's what I'd do, because if you're at Tigres, a young Mexican player, if you're at even Monterrey, although there's a couple of players come through, you're not going to get. You're unlikely to get chances. Let's be honest. Cruz Azul as well. You're unlikely to get chances, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think you could argue for the league it's good, but for the Mexican national team, having such a shortage of players in certain positions, it's just never going to be good.
I think someone like Espericueta is a perfect example. Someone like that should have gone to Major League Soccer. I mean, honestly, instead of just trying to make the bench, on Tigres, that was his goal, was just trying to make the bench, and he just couldn't do that. And now I think he's somewhere in the second division. And we just talked about the level of play in the second division. I would have liked to have seen him go to Major League Soccer instead. I'm not saying he has to sign for a team; just go on loan. Just okay.
When all else fails, go to Major League Soccer.
It's the theme of the show. There you go.
Hey, Tom, what's the stat on Mexican players and goals right now?
I think it's 28 of the 112 goals so far this season. So as a percentage, it's 25%, more or less?
I think it's a little less than that, right?
28 of 112. Yeah, I think it's around 25, 24, 25%.
Who scored all our goals? That'd be kind of cool to see.
Oribe Peralta's got 3 of them.
I'm talking about as far as all the other goals.
Yeah. No, I think if
Chile, Argentina.
Yeah, Chile, Argentina. I think Argentina, but I mean Colombia as well.
Argentina's scoring goals in everywhere.
Pavon and Aviles Hurtado, but there's only one Mexican in the top 18 of the goal scoring chart. I mean, that tells a story. You know what I mean?
You know what's kind of funny is I bet somewhere like near 22 or 23 is Juan Carlos Medina.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Lovely.
One goal.
All right, quickly, I know we talked a lot about Mexicans abroad and just other topics. Chivas, Liga MX, we have to go. We have at least 7 to 10 minutes to talk about Liga MX, but Liga MX, the league of parity, the league where a team's fortune can change at the drop of a hat, being the winners, and now has certainly been the case for Chivas, with who now sit in the 18th place in the season. Liga MX. ¿Qué está pasando, Tom? I mean, embarrassing for a team, which we've seen before in Liga MX. I'm not saying that it's all lost for Chivas, but something's got to give with that formation. At least Fierro, I mean, am I the only one that's looking at a player that shouldn't be starting? Give trophies maybe a chance, but what's happening with Chivas, Tom?
Yeah, I don't think it's one certain thing. I know we've gone over this before, but I think the lack of signings hasn't helped, create kind of competition for places. There's that campeonitis. Partly to blame, I think, is the same thing about the Mexican players in Europe. I think there's that 1% where are you as motivated as you were 4 months ago when you know that you've got a title, basically you can see the title. It's difficult. Obviously, the injuries have been there. The preseason was disrupted. But I think the other thing is, because the results haven't gone well, I was at the game on Saturday. I saw players just lacking confidence. I've seen certain players like Fierro is playing horribly for me. He's not doing anything. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. You look around and you think Pizarro's kind of trying, and he shows flashes of brilliance and good skill. He's got that goal against Cruz Azul. And then even Orbelin Pineda. I'm looking at Pineda and I'm thinking, where's that player who 6 months ago we were all kind of, this is the guy that was going to be in
Confederations. I think I remember everyone saying that he might even go.
He might even start and stuff. And I don't know what's happened. I think it's a lack of confidence. And obviously they've had a bit of bad luck as well with the couple of the refereeing decisions. But
was it a penalty? I mean, I feel like he did obstruct. It wasn't a bad call. I mean, you look at replays and everything wasn't touched, but I don't see it as a bad call for it. I know Chivas fans probably don't disagree, but
I think there's 3 big decisions in that game, and all 3 went against Chivas. We can talk about the Pereira red card. At the end of the day, honestly, I was kind of having a battle on Twitter with Chivas fans. Was it a red card? No. If you're the referee and you have to make a split-second decision, from where I was in the stadium, I was like, definite red card. Like he's through on goal. It's difficult for referees. But for me, the strangest decision was the one the refs actually got right. Was the disallowed goal for Salcido. And I'll tell you why. Salcido put the ball in the net, and the referee and the assistant were just kind of frozen. They kind of like frozen for like 3 seconds. It felt like a long time. And I was like, well, he's given the goal. And then the assistant referee put the flag up. And it's like, he had no idea.
You do it. You do it.
He had no idea whether it was offside or not. And it was that kind of like split decision he's gone against Chivas at that moment. And the Chofis penalty, there's no excuse for that from a referee.
Yeah.
You've got a referee there, you've got an assistant referee there, and the play happens there. You got two people, he's chopped down his leg. It's a penalty, and you got to make that decision late on.
I think I agree with the first call. Like watching from home, it looked like a clear red to me. So I don't blame the ref that much for the decision. Obviously, on replay, you see it that Data didn't touch him at all. But it was just really difficult from the ref's position to be to recognize that, especially if he was behind them, and it looked like it was it should have been a red. Obviously, it wasn't. But yeah, on that second was a little strange too, because it was almost like Moises Munoz's like bad movement, like his bad like clearance, his bad punch out was what kind of led to that offside call. And it was fascinating, like you said, they had enough time to celebrate. Salcido was on the floor, they celebrated with him, and then they did call it a few seconds afterwards. It was quite strange. And yeah, like so the third one, I think that should have been a penalty as well.
So
but
do we need VAR? VAR?
Hey, everyone was that was like the most used word of Saturday night was VAR. I just saw that everywhere.
It's funny how it's like everyone wants VAR when it's better, but then no, it's just disrupting the game, and when it goes against it, bring it in.
Yeah, I think it was. I read a column somewhere. I think it was just the cost. I think that was the cost that put the Mexican teams up.
The cost,
because you need to install this. You know, if you go to Veracruz, or Puebla, which have had a problem paying the players, you say, oh, you got to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on, all these cameras all over the stadium and Lobos Buap. Lobos Buap, I don't think really have fans, do they?
Oh, they did over the weekend.
So they have fans. Well, they were America fans.
They had fans though. I don't know. I didn't see the game, Tom. Who saw the game? I know I couldn't see it.
Nobody saw the game, but I mean,
somebody should live stream.
I don't know. I
just hold up. 20,000 people are watching in the game, and just hold it. I got people in Puebla that can do that. By the way, no one's watching those games. It'd be interesting. Are there any Lobos Buap players? If you're a Lobo Buap fan that listens to the Mexican soccer show, just tweet at us. We want to see if there are any fans at all that speak English. Let's see if we can find one Lobos Buap fan.
It's like a Puebla fan. It's like jumping on the Lobos Buap like hype train.
No, it's got to be, and you got to give us some kind of evidence. Look, here it is. I'm a Lobos Buap fan.
Yeah, I think it'll struggle. I just think I've been there, to that stadium. It's quite an interesting little place because it's just like part of the university. And I just get the feeling that I think the last season the attendance was under 2,000. I just feel like it's just students who like hanging around the campus. They're like, oh, there's a game.
There's a game right now. All right, let's go.
Let's go watch it.
It was unfortunate that we couldn't see that game over the weekend because it looked like it could have been the most exciting one. I mean, just getting the updates on my phone, seeing like the updates of the goals from the first half. It looked like Oribe got that late. I don't even know if it was late. Like I said, I didn't watch the game. It was just getting the updates on my phone, but it just did look like it was a lot of fun. I saw like some fan who posted a video of one of the goals from Lobos Buap. It looked like an incredible one too. But it's just it was such a disappointment that we couldn't watch that game because it looked
there's other countries. I remember like you can travel in Central America or South America where like you have a really, really a team that relegates that has in a little small town, and you have these giant teams that play in these fields. It happened to me in Costa Rica, where you had the Saprisas and La Liga going into this small, recent relegated, not relegated, but going up in promotion, and they totally crowd these little tiny fields, and I think that's almost what's happening, and especially without any TV contracts and all that. But is that even going to be solved? Because I remember hearing somewhere in the fifth week, Tom.
Yeah, I think actually today they were free to negotiate with people outside Televisa and Azteca. If they do a deal with, say, for example, Fox or ESPN, I think Televisa have got the right to match the bid. So I think they've still got the. But yeah, I think from now it's kind of it's more open. They can negotiate, and that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to not have the necessity to go straight with Televisa, because what happened, even 3, 4, 5 years ago in the Mexican game was a team would come up and they'd automatically be assigned a TV company. And so obviously you're negotiating, you're not in a very good position to negotiate. What's happening now, and this is a massive change in the Mexican game. And for me, if we go 5, 10 years down the road, it could, I don't know if revolutionize is too strong a word, but you've got teams now like Lobos Buap. I mean, Lobos Buap, the smallest team we've seen in many, many years in the Mexican's first division. and they're kind of holding the TV companies, and it's kind of almost a ransom. They're now gonna undergo a bidding process where they're going to try and get as much as they can out of the TV companies. And obviously, you do one deal with Mexico, and then you do another deal with the United States. And 10 years ago, that simply did not happen. And I think that when we get a bigger team going up, you know, maybe like a Juarez or an Atlante, then you know we might see even more money being thrown in there. But yeah, interesting time in terms of TV, but that's probably gone off topic a bit.
All right, finishing up the show, Cruz Azul.
Yeah, things are looking good.
Looking a little better, James. I think it's still polemic, but at the same time, hey.
I think my big talking point from that match was I forget which goal it was, but you could see large members of the teams like going over to celebrate with James after scoring the goal, like clearly showing him some support. You know, things haven't been the best off the field for him, but this is a team that's now undefeated. They're in third place. They're doing quite well, and I mean, they were brilliant during those first 15 minutes. I know things got a little, bad for them in the second half. They end up earning a red against Atlas. Atlas went down to 10 men as well, but no, I mean, despite all of the problems, it's just things are going quite well for the team that's now in third place.
Yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying Cruz Azul. I mean, I know people have criticized Paco Gemes and said this, that. I mean, it's not easy to come from Spain into Mexico and be thrown into a big team. Has he dealt with it well? Not really. You know, like I feel like in his press conferences he says some needless stuff. So I get that criticism, but on the field, his team's coming together. I think they're playing some good football. For the first time in a while, I'll be honest, Cruz Azul are playing at 5 p.m. Mexico time, and I'm pretty excited to watch them.
I'm still hesitant to hold on to that, but yeah.
All of a sudden they lose 4-0 on the next weekend, and we're like, oh, of course.
But I mean, they're a good team. They've got good players. I think they've got a really good manager. Paco Gemes, I think, is a top manager. I think his style, as soon as he came in, I think that this league suits him because I think this league is forgiving in terms of teams that play an open style. Because I think most teams in Mexico still are very open. I think it's tú a tú. They've still got that mentality where you want to entertain. And I think leagues in Europe, especially, have lost that. You get some teams, the big teams with the big budget, who go and attack. They try and dominate possession, and you get the smaller teams that basically sit back, restrict space as much as possible, and then you don't get that in Mexico. And I think that's one of the reasons why it's probably one of the best leagues in the world to watch, because it is so open. And I think that suits Paco Gemes because he can go out and a lot of the other teams are playing this not the same way, but a similar style. They're coming out, leaving spaces. They're both leaving spaces. So. I'm enjoying Paco Gemes. I mean, all right, somebody says something about his daughter, he sticks the middle finger up. Who cares? Like, yeah, he deserves it.
Scandalous pictures his daughter's taken. Everyone knows about that. All right, Liga MX week. Remember, there's a lot of football this week. Week 6, Jornada 6. On Tuesday, Pachuca, Veracruz, Pumas, Monarcas, Atlas, Lobos, Buap, Querétaro, Tijuana. On Wednesday, Club América, Tigres, which I'm sure is going to be the game of the week. There to see Santos, Guadalajara, can they get a win finally? Necaxa, Cruz Azul, keep going. Puebla, León, and Monterrey, Toluca. And then on Friday, obviously, Tijuana, they're against Pachuca, but Saturday again. So lots and lots of football really quick. Cruz Azul, Monterrey, León, Santos, Necaxa, Atlas, Tigres, Lobos, Buap, Monarcas, Club América, Guadalajara, Querétaro. And on Sunday, Toluca, Puebla, Veracruz, y Pumas. So lots and lots of football. 2 big jornadas before the international break. What games are you looking at to see?
I'm keeping an eye on that Pachuca match. I think because Pachuca announced earlier today that Keisuke Honda is going to be Keisuke, not Keisuke. Keisuke is going to be on the game day roster. Who knows if he's going to be the starting 11? So we could see. Waiting. Yeah, he could make his debut. I'll also keep an eye on Xolos too. Tomorrow I'll keep an eye on Xolos against Querétaro. I mean, obviously, because I'm here in the San Diego area, a lot of people are talking about Xolos, but they're starting to do a little bit better. They're starting to, I mean, they switched to a back line of 5 players, and things are looking well for them. So I think that's another team to keep an eye on. And of course, Monterrey, they're the first place team. They're doing extremely well in the league, and just, I don't know, it's just, I think We just look at how efficient they are off their counters. We look at how well they do going forward. You just got to keep an eye on them.
All right, there we go. I know we went a little late. Tom had some problems with the internet, but we're in, guys. This is the Mexican Soccer Show. Enjoy all of the chats, all of you guys that are on. Definitely reading them and enjoy el apoyo. Definitely follow us on Mexican Soccer Show. Again, we haven't seen anybody rate our iTunes page. Please do that.
Only if it's positive.
Yeah, only if it's positive.
You've got nothing good to say. Don't go on there.
Don't go on there. All right. Last review was from 2013. All right, Mr. Tom Marshall, close us off. This has been another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. Mr. Tom, take it away.
Bye.
No,
all right. Tigres America. Tigres America potential final. Check it out.
All right, guys. Give a little shout out to Mr. Tom Marshall.
Oh God, what is happening?
Talk to you guys later.